And remember, perimenopause is a phase. It's not a life sentence. You're not going to be here forever. So don't unpack and plan on staying. Do everything you can to just go along for the ride and set yourself up. Shift your mindset to one of acceptance. Welcome back to In the Know with KO. I'm your host, Kristen Adams, also known as KO. And today's show is really designed for my lady listeners. Fellas, if you're tuning in, it won't hurt to dial in and pay attention to how you can potentially support the females in your life, whether it's a wife, sister, daughter, whatever. If they haven't gone through this, and if they're not currently going through this, they're gonna. Perimenopause survival. Yeah. We're going to phone in some of the important elements on how to manage perimenopause. Yeah, super exciting topic. Said no woman ever. Now, today's episode is really about the wild and unpredictable ride of perimenopause, how to survive, how to laugh, and how to thrive. And as you can see, I have a very interesting display on the show today for those of you watching, not just listening. And, you know, this is a magical time as we get into our 40s and your body goes rogue, like wildly rogue in ways that you could never imagine. And nobody gives you a manual. There's no actual book that says, hey, this is how you should do it. This is how you shouldn't do it. So grab a cup of herbal tea, or in my case today, a healthy smoothie that's loaded with all types of nutrients, because trust me, you're going to need it. And I want to dive into how to survive and thrive. So with that said, FYI, today I do have notes. I feel like a news reporter, but it's necessary because there was so much really great information that I wanted to put down to make sure I didn't forget anything, because I've done that before in episodes where I'm like, I had such a great nugget of information that I wanted to share. So I want to also give a shout out to my girlfriend, Kelly Keisha Moit. This adorable pillow was part of a gift that was attached to this homemade magnesium spray that I'm going to talk about later. But let's talk about the message on this pillow first, real quick. Self-Love Club. This is a club that is an unpaid membership. You can show up when you want to, but I hope you will invest daily. And when I say invest, I mean through nutrition, rest, and a lot of self-love. Give yourself some grace. So how do you understand perimenopause? I don't know that you really ever will, other than a moment like this where somebody like myself is willing to walk you through my own journey, okay? So it's not just hot flashes. Oh my gosh. And those are by themselves like unbelievable. Like I always thought, these old ladies with their hot flashes, they're exaggerating. It's no joke. It comes on fast and furious. So you've heard the term perimenopause, right? And you probably have been up at 3 a.m. Googling self-remedies or treatments when you can't sleep and you're staring at the ceiling. But as much as this is a lovely time in our lives, it typically starts in your 40s, maybe sometimes earlier, sometimes later. But your body begins to transition into menopause. But there's this huge time before you even get to that, right? You may find yourself suddenly hot, then cold, then hot. It's not the flu. It's just the joy of menopause. Said no woman ever. And probably no man either that's with a woman that's dealing with that. So let's not forget the mood swings. Another super fun part of being a chick. Oh my gosh. So one minute you're totally fine, and the next minute you're crying because you dropped a piece of toast on the floor, right? Like, why does it feel like the toast was such a personal attack? I'm not even sure, but it does. Like, oh my gosh, there's a piece of toast on the floor. Now there's crumbs and blah, blah, blah. It's like everything kind of falls apart. And the jeans that you wore yesterday and felt super sexy in, you try and put them on the next day and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to lay down to zip them up and I need to put on Spanx and whatever else to make them fit. And you're like, what happened, right? So the symptom roller coaster, this is what I call segment 2, okay? From hot flashes to insomnia. And by the way, what in the world is happening to my skin? Like I have personally never really struggled with skin issues, but now it's like, it's dry, it's itchy. You get a breakout that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in my 40s and I'm getting a breakout? What? like, it's not even fair, Like, I already put my time in as a teenager, and I did the whole have a baby and postpartum. Like, are you kidding me? Let's talk about the symptoms, okay? So you may have hot flashes that feel like you're being roasted from the inside out. You could be standing in a grocery store, and then all of a sudden you feel like you stepped into a sauna from hell, and you're looking around to see if you're the only one sweating. You're like, whew, you're looking around. Is it hot in here? Is it just me? And you're like, okay, it's just my hormones betraying me again. So then there's insomnia. Insomnia is also something that you can self-remedy by preparing yourself for bed. So let me tell you, if you think that you're going to get into your 40s or 50s and face perimenopause leading into menopause and not make any changes in your bedtime routine, you are mistaken. And you're going to feel some challenges. So 1 minute you're a peaceful, snoring angel, and the next minute you're staring at the ceiling at 2 o'clock in the morning, wonder if you're ever going to fall asleep again. So honestly, I've spent more time thinking about sleep than I do my whole life's career trajectory. Like, thinking about sleep, I'm already, like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm already thinking about the next morning's cup of coffee, because it's like this grind. But I realized that was what I needed to change. So now let's get back to the skin topic. One day you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so supple and glowing and I'm so happy with myself. And then the next day you're like one pimple away from embarrassing skincare emergency. You're like, what is going on? And it's never at the right time, because heaven forbid that actually happens. Like, why is my body turning into a teenager at the same time that it's trying to be an old lady? So you've got like this, I'm old, I'm young battle. And that's also super uncomfortable. So let's get into segment 3. Natural remedies that actually work, or at least try to help. Now, I'm going to insert a quick disclosure here. I am not a doctor, not a medical professional. I am not a therapist. I am just a woman in her 40s who has been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, living through it and surviving. And I just want to share. I just want to share about my story, because you know what? The majority of what I've learned has been through other friends who are also going through a very similar time, who believe in not just holistic remedies, but healthy remedies. Because let's face it, I was calling in before. Hello. Like, do you know how great a banana is if you have a random headache, or if you're low in energy, or if you have a tummy ache? Like, this is a fantastic remedy. Now, if you hate bananas, well, I'm kind of, I'm sorry for you in that regard. But, maybe mix it in with something else and you don't even taste it. Like, I don't even taste that there's bananas in my smoothie. There's also strawberries and sea moss and dates and collagen and all kinds of yummy stuff. So let's get to the good stuff, okay? You're all probably like, wow, what is going on that table, right? There's so many things here. So in addition to a giant cup of water that I refill throughout the day. Oh, and side note, please don't use the same bottle for several days and not clean it. Ew, gross. Like, mold and all kinds. You're not doing yourself any service at that point. So either get more than one bottle, or make sure that at the end of the day, you give your bottle a bath. Okay. Now, don't forget the straw, and take the whole thing apart, because all those little parts, they get dirty, and none of that is helping your gut either, because now you're basically poisoning yourself. So that's a whole other situation. Now, there are herbal teas. So there's chamomile, peppermint, valerian root. These are some of my own personal go-to teas, because they calm my body, they cool my body, and they kind of feel, I don't know. I mean, I guess, drinking tea sounds like, very European, or maybe you're like an old grandma. I don't know. But tea is actually such a delicious remedy for so many things. If you need to get more energy, have less energy, fix your tummy, get rid of a headache, get ready for bed. If you're feeling sad, I mean, there's so many great remedies that herbal tea can help with. Also, essential oils. Oh my gosh, essential oils are next level. I mean, I could do 10 episodes just on essential oils. So let's just pause for a moment and talk about the main ones that I love the most. Now, lavender is a lifesaver for anxiety, and a lot of people believe in it. Now, I have a huge aversion to contact with lavender. I can deal with lavender aroma, but if it's something that's contact on the skin, nope, I can't do it. But This is another yummy gift from my friend Kelly. I left this little tag on here because I thought it was so cute and it reminded me that she loves me enough to make me my own homemade magnesium spray. This spray is a game changer for sleep problems, anxiety, low mood, and it can even help regulate your blood pressure and inflammation. So like if you're like, oh my gosh, my shoulder is killing me, it's really sore, spray a little bit of this on there, rub it in. I mean, why not? Why not? You can even incorporate some frankincense, which has literally been around for thousands of years. Feeling low in energy, this is a multi B12 and it is also loaded with niacin and folate. So this is something that I do every morning before I even eat. The majority of what I do is on an empty stomach. Now, this right here, okay, I've done episodes talking crap about poop. But let's face it, it is a very big part of our day. It's a big part of your life. And if that's not healthy, that means there's something going on. Your body is very symptomatic and it's going to tell you very bluntly, hey, there's a problem, right? Your urine is supposed to be a certain color. What you dispose from your body is supposed to be a certain color, a certain consistency. This is berberine. This berberine also has chromium and milk thistle in it, and it has been tremendous for my gut health and my digestion. There was a time in my life where I couldn't live without prescription medication to get through this time. Not anymore. Game changer. There are also natural tallows that you can use under the eyes, in places that seem to be a little bit more dry or itchy. This has also been a really yummy, sorry for the vegans that are watching and listening, but it's been a very yummy remedy. I also want to talk about wild yam cream. Now, if you are experiencing those hot flashes, my sister-in-law will tell you she tried a bajillion different things and nothing worked. Nothing. Wild yam cream, it helps to adjust some of those hormonal imbalances in your body. There are certain delivery points that you can put it on. You can put it on your chest, inside of your wrist, your inner thigh, your abdominal area, and you're supposed to alternate the location of where you apply it to give your body the maximum benefits. Again, I'm not an expert, but if it's working, I'm going to share it. Something else that I really, really love in the healthy family is oil of oregano. Now, I am a gangster, I guess, because a lot of people can't tolerate the liquid form. No one else in my family, party of 5, can handle what I do every day, which is 3 drops under the tongue. All of them are like, how do you do that? They're like dying. They all prefer the capsule, and that's fine. There's not a wrong way of delivery. As far as I'm concerned, you just got to go with what works, okay? Now let's talk about hydration. All right, we live in a world where you need a little extra. Now, not all hydration packets are created equally. Please read your labels. This is not the time for trash ingredients. This is the time to avoid those because artificial sweeteners are your enemy. Not only are they bad for you because they've been legally announced as being potentially linked to cancer. However, they also increase inflammation, which is the opposite of what you're trying to do for your body. So find something. These are element packets, but there's also just traditional liquid IV. And, you know, let me just also share, not all supplements are tolerated, okay? What I shared with you here, this is the maximum for me on a daily basis that I can potentially put in my body, put on my body. But you know what else I do? Liquid IV injected. Okay, I actually have a phenomenal doctor who practices both Eastern and Western medicine who believes that our body does have deficiencies. And if you're trying to regulate based on just going in and getting your blood work done, sorry, not going to happen. There are so many other tests that you need to do for your body to find out from the inside out, where are you deficient or what are you producing in excess that you need to balance? So getting those supplements put into an IV and getting it directly into your bloodstream, next level, okay? And I have noticed a tremendous improvement with joint pain. You know, I used to play, I still play tennis, but when I used to play and then come home and like my whole day was ruined because my body hurt so bad, not anymore. It's a combination of these things I'm doing, but I also believe that those IV treatments are helping because I know what's going on inside my body. I'm making the time to find out and I'm listening. Your body will tell you what you need. It's up to you. Do you want to listen or do you want to ignore it? You're not going to feel better if you ignore what's going on. And if you have inflammation, that is your body's way of going into high gear and saying, alert, alert, help, hello, give me what I need. So moving into the next segment, embracing the perimenopausal journey. And you can do this in whatever way works for you. Again, there's no right or wrong. I'm just sharing in the hopes that somebody is going to get some great ideas, and you can comment and share your ideas and your journeys and your struggles, and we can be in this village together. But something else that I personally need in all aspects of my life is laughter. If you can't laugh at yourself, laugh at the situation, I don't know. I just think it's kind of unhealthy, and it's also hard to find happiness. Laughter helps you connect to finding that happiness, and some people find happiness in yoga. Some people find happiness in reading a book, going for a run, whatever it is, do your thing. Okay. For me, I need to laugh, and I need to laugh often. And thank goodness my husband always knows how to make me laugh. It's something that after 12 years of being together, we still thrive on, and that is huge. And even my kids, we try. If it's funny, you're not in trouble. That's our number one rule. But we try to help each other to laugh and to stay positive in those ways. So let's get a little bit real here. If you think about perimenopause, it's unpredictable, okay? Some days you feel like, oh my gosh, I can conquer the world. And I'll be like, minute to minute, I am go, 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 checking everything off my list. And then there's other days where I'm like, I might get out of bed and brush my teeth, and that's the only box I'm checking off today. I may not even make the bed. I may not get anything accomplished. But you know what? I'm proud of the fact that I'm giving myself that break. Now, I understand we don't always have that gift because we have to get up. We have to go to work. There are things that we still have to do. But when you come home, do you really have to do the dishes, or can you let them sit for a day? I don't know about you. That's hard for me. That is very hard for me to not vacuum the floors, to not do the dishes, to not make sure the kitchen counter is perfectly cleaned off before I go to bed, to make the bed in the morning, to do all the things, right? But guess what? They're going to be there. So if you can give yourself 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, just an extra little break for yourself. Maybe you want to binge watch a show on Netflix, something completely mindless, or educate yourself, read a self-love book. Whatever it is, find the time, make the time. So embrace the chaos, embrace the mood swings, the weird cravings for pickles or cheese snacks at 2 a.m. Just know that you're not alone. Just know that you're not alone. I've been known to be a cookie monster in my time, and that was very real, and it definitely caught up with me. I've made a lot of product changes in our household, and that has helped because we've reduced things like refined sugars, processed foods. We don't allow food dyes. And it's incredible to see how many companies out there like Thrive Market. I'm not endorsed by Thrive Market, but I'm going to tell you I live by this company because they've taken the time to already read the packaging and the ingredient labels and give you a better product choice. So you can replace soda with better brands of sparkling waters that have better flavorings in them without all the junk that's going to cause inflammation. Okay, so garbage in, you'll feel like garbage. Healthy in, you may feel healthy. Okay, this is logic. This is not even medicine. I mean, this is common sense for some, and that's what I'm hoping to teach. So humor is going to be your best friend during this time. If you can laugh through hot flashes and the hormonal hurricanes, as I have created my own phrase, you'll be fine. And you may even thrive. You may even surprise yourself. So the last part of this for me are tips to thrive during this time. So before we get to like a total like wrap up stage here, I just want to give you permission to not be okay, to call a friend, to vent to a family member, whatever that is. But just do your best to not project that to those in your world. I have made that mistake many, many times, and I've had to kind of take a step back like, oh my gosh, it's not my kid's fault that I feel like garbage today. And it's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just the natural progression of being a chick. And you know what? If you figure out how to manage it, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have started a lot of this healthy stuff sooner. So I'm hoping some of the younger listeners, who are not in this stage, take heed. Guess what? Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? Listen up, ladies. You can't stop it from happening. That's like putting duct tape on your mouth when you're ready to vomit. Can't stop it. It's going to happen whether you want it or not. I mean, as gross as that sounds, that's the reality. You can't stop a lot of these progressions in life, but you can figure out how to manage them in a healthy way and maybe even thrive. So let me leave you with a few tips being in the know with KO about perimenopause. Are you ready? Here we go. Number 1, stay active and try not to laugh. Try not to laugh because you're like, okay, stay active when I feel like crap and I have a headache and I don't want to do anything but lay on the couch. Yep, absolutely. 100%. Even if you get up and just do 50 squats or take a 20-minute walk outside, sunshine and vitamin D, those are also natural remedies. How about that? Now, yeah, I have an advantage. I live in South Florida, but there's a lot of things you can still do for yourself in other parts of the world, even if you can't get outside. So exercise can be a game changer because it can help with things like hot flashes. It can even help your sleep, which essentially helps your mood. See what I did there? Yeah, we're connecting the dots. So it doesn't have to be hardcore. I'm not suggesting that this is the time to enter into CrossFit unless it makes you feel better. Me? I'm not ready for that yet. I'm just not there. I hope to be. I don't consider myself out of shape or unhealthy, but I'm definitely not going to be moving some truck tires anytime soon, and I'm definitely not going to be doing deadlifts anytime soon. Now, a walk around the block or yoga, oh man, that's amazing because you know what? It gives you the opportunity to connect with nature. You get some sunshine, hopefully. And even if it's something that you end up having to do indoors because you don't have good weather or sunshine, you're still giving your body the benefit because you're increasing blood flow. And increasing blood flow helps to kind of flush that stuff out like a really huge glass of water. So you have to give yourself the advantage. Otherwise, the longer you sit around, the worse you're going to feel. There's a time for rest, but if you can just give yourself 20 to 30 minutes, just 20 or 30 minutes, that goes by so super fast. Listen to a podcast episode. Hey. So eating right is also something that can be a special medicine in so many ways. Perfect example was myself yesterday. I played in a tennis match that ended up going from a couple of hours to a few hours to almost 4 hours of being in the heat from the time we started warming up to the time we ended. And at first I was feeling fine. I was hydrated. I had a good healthy breakfast. But every hour after I stopped playing in the dead of heat here in South Florida in direct sunlight with zero shade all day, it caught up with me. And I had this great plan for how I was going to spend my evening. And guess what? Didn't happen. Did nothing that I had planned for except the one thing that I focused on, which was nourishing myself. So my husband, gotta love him, reminded me of the importance of hydration. So he filled this up for me with some cold water and a liquid IV packet. And you know what I wanted for dinner? The only thing I wanted for dinner, and I gave it to myself, a giant bowl of vegetables. I had red bell peppers and zucchini and asparagus, and it was just so delicious and yummy. And you know what? Could it be a coincidence? I woke up today headache-free. I feel better. I have a ton of energy, laser focused. The white in my eyes is super bright. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I was feeling very symptomatic and fed my body a ton of nutrients. So eat for your hormones. There's ways that you can keep your diet balanced. Avoid things like excessive sugar, caffeine. Trust me, I know it's tempting, but if you can try to avoid it, I'm not saying not to have it. I'm saying avoid it in excess, okay? Do you need to have 4 or 5 cups of coffee to survive? You don't, actually. Maybe try cutting your amount in half and then replace the next one with an herbal tea or even just hot water with a little bit of lemon, okay? You'd be surprised what that can do for your body. You can also eat more healthy fats. You can incorporate some good fibers and proteins. Think about omega-3, avocados, and quinoa. Okay, your body will thank you. I promise you, your body will thank you. You're going to feel better. You will feel better. It's almost impossible to eat and drink all of these great and yummy things and not feel better. and you incorporate a little bit of exercise, the right amount of rest, it could definitely be a game changer. So the other thing is to mind your mindset. Now, this is exceptionally hard if you are anything like me and you are a mom, a wife, and just constantly on the go, whether you are helping to manage one of the businesses, CEO of the house, running the carpool, washing 100 loads of laundry, getting somebody to sports, doing all the things, right? And then somewhere in the middle of all this, you're like, oh my gosh, my family needs to eat and I have to figure out what I'm going to cook. And did I pack that lunch? Did I remember to respond to that meeting? Did I call my friend? Oh my gosh, whose birthday is it? Like, you have all these things going on. Mind your mindset. And remember, perimenopause is a phase. It's not a life sentence. You're not going to be here forever. So don't unpack and plan on staying. Do everything you can to just go along for the ride and set yourself up. Shift your mindset to one of acceptance. Accept the fact that you are here in this particular place. You're not getting old. You're not getting old. You are evolving into a wiser, more empowered version of yourself. So give yourself that power that you are empowered with and give yourself what you need to get through. Remember, you're a badass and you will get through. This is just a chapter. When you consider life as being this big book, right? None of us really know exactly how many chapters we're going to have or how many pages are in our story, but we all have a book. And if you look at this one particular moment as a chapter and even look back at what you've already accomplished or survived and been through, you're gonna be like, wow, I am a badass. I've actually gotten through a tremendous time already. So this is just going to be another one of those times that you will look back on and go, whew, remember that time when I was managing hot flashes and my body really sucked and none of my clothes fit? Yeah. You'll look back and thank me for this exact conversation of remedies. And it's okay to take a break, guilt-free, especially as a mom. Mom guilt is such a real thing. And I don't know who started that, but shame on them for making us feel bad about doing things for ourselves so that we can be that much better for the family members that we're here to care for. I hope that in closing, you feel in the know about perimenopause and you find some comfort, maybe a few laughs and some relatable moments, but try a new herbal tea. And if you're in the middle of this journey, just know you've got this. You've got this. We're designed for this. Don't let the world tell you that you can't. Don't tell the world anything other than I have got this and I'm going to come out on top. I empower you. If you're not going to empower yourself, I'm going to empower you. And you know what? If you need a little bit of support, don't hesitate to reach out. I love hearing from listeners about additional topics or, hey, I tried what you said and this is what my result was. Or if you tried it and you put your own twist on it and you want to tell me about it, I'd love to hear from you. And if I don't have the answers, I love networking people with like-minded individuals that do have the answers because you know what? I'm not only giving you the benefit of that knowledge, but I'm getting it as well. So this is why it takes a village. And this is why we have to have these open, honest conversations. And I hope that you don't hesitate. I hope that you make the effort immediately to give yourself what you need. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, stay cool, stay calm, and most importantly, stay you. Thank you.